Welcome to this special meeting of the Livermore City Council this July 30th. I now call the meeting to order. The roll call show that all members of the council are present and accounted for. I'll ask that you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This is an opportunity for the public to address the City Council on items with special meeting item. There we go. Yes, so I have Carl Winty. That's it? That's it. Nobody else wants to talk on this. Everybody else is just here to observe. So
he gets a full 30 minutes?
That's right. So I'm going to sit back here.
Mr. Mayor, council, staff, thank you for what you do, service to our city. I appreciate it. There's a lot of people that do appreciate it because it's at some point a thankless task. Because I get up here and speak, some people have asked me, am I running for city politics or government? I'm not a member of the city, so I can't. Could figure out how to solve that, I assume, by getting something downtown. Just kidding. I mean, by getting something big, getting something there. No, I'm not. I am just here to encourage, engaged electorate of the people, for the people, by the people. Staff, you're awesome. The more I learn about you, Mark, the more I think you're an awesome leader, an awesome person that's managing a good organization, so thank you there. Mr. Alcala, thank you for taking the time. Mr. Spence, thank you for educating me. Mr. Alessio, thank you for continuing to educate me on the way that city governments work. All my questions on the last one of what's a district, what's a consolidated district, all that. Mr. Alessio just gave me the best education of my life. Thank you for what you do. Good government's a process. This is the process. Namaste.
Thank you, Mr. Winty. Okay, with that, this was the public's opportunity to speak to the council on the special meeting item. And now we go into 3.01, the ballot measure argument.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. This evening, your task is to complete the process that your subcommittee has started. At your previous meeting, you appointed a subcommittee of the council to draft the argument against the proposal before you. So wanted to just touch on a couple things this evening. The first are sort of the basic ground rules, and the great news is that the ground rules are pretty few in this case as far as what the words actually need to be. The arguments must be true, factually accurate, and relevant to the measure. Okay, so that being said, the ballot argument should not be false or misleading, an ad hominem attack, i.e. name calling, or contain deliberate misinformation. With those guidelines, the words within your word limit then are up to you as a group to ultimately determine what you're going to say. The argument is, by its very nature, just that, an argument. So it is acceptable to use political rhetoric so long as it's relevant to the measure. So this is different. The task that you have taken on is different, for example, than the city attorney's job, which was to create an impartial analysis of the measure. Your measure, by its very, your words by their very nature are not impartial. You are arguing, in this particular case, against this particular measure. So for this evening, the first task you have before you is to review and agree upon the primary argument opposing the measure, using the language developed by your subcommittee as a starting point and moving from there. Once agreed upon, ultimately we have the ability to take a moment and then print your argument in its final format and ultimately get your signatures after the meeting if you want to conclude this evening. So if you actually come to the final version of the words this evening and I dot and T cross and you're all done, we can actually provide the opportunity, since the five of you are together, is to actually literally get your signatures on that. You have another option, which of course is to give further direction to your subcommittee. We're hoping you actually get to a final decision this evening because that final argument has to be turned in before you'll meet as a group again. So you have, this is the time you've set aside to work as a group there. The second thing that you'll need to do before we conclude tonight is to determine who is going to take the first stab at writing the rebuttal argument to the argument for. You can continue to have the existing subcommittee that you've already appointed, but you will need to give us direction or give direction to that subcommittee if you wish to continue to have them serve or appoint a new one this evening. The subcommittee then, once the deadline is passed for the primary arguments to be turned in, they'll get access to the primary argument for, they'll be able to develop the rebuttal, and then you'll be able to consider that at your August 13th meeting, where again you can sit as you are this evening and determine what the final version of that argument rebutting the primary argument for would be. You have, essentially, are there any questions about the objectives for the evening? All right. You all have figured out that you have screens in front of you. And so you can use those to ultimately get to the outcome any way you wish. Your staff would probably recommend that you actually create or appoint a scribe, because you literally, all five of you can write at the same time on the same document up there. And so that may not be the most efficient way to get to the end, but I'll leave that up to you. If you do appoint a scribe, you have the ability then to kind of tinker a little bit on your own. You also have written and printed versions of the argument, double-spaced up there if you want to do a little tinkering in the margin of offline. But once you touch that keypad, it is displayed both to you, to the other council members, and up on the screen, as long as where you are writing is aligned with what's on the screen up there. We also are trying not to have too many multiple copies of the object up there. So by having a single scribe, I think you can keep all of those things straight more easily. With that, your staff is available for questions, but this task is up for you to sort of get through the process. If we get particularly close to 300 words, we will want to take a break at the end to make sure that you actually are under the word limit. How you count political words is different than how normal people count words. It generally allows a couple of extra words over the 300 count because certain things like the city of Livermore, for example, is one word under the rules. But if you are well short or anywhere short of the 300, doing a simple word count, you'll be fine. So that's the last requirement that you ultimately have to meet this evening. And with that, we are available for questions.
I have one question. Of what we wrote so far in that first paragraph, what's the word count?
It's a lot less than 300.
It's on the screen. It says
How many?
177.
Yeah.
177. It says on the screen 527 words. I don't know if that's accurate. Right.
Oh,
So it was
I knew it was about 180 because that's
177 according
Okay.
to.
so question, the undersigned authors of this primary argument, that's not part of the argument, correct?
correct.
Yeah, that's the extra legalese that has to go after it.
Toward the word total.
Correct. So that language at the bottom is required by the Elections Code and does not count against your word count.
Okay, because it was 231 when I looked it up on Word this afternoon, but then I saw the other verbiage at the bottom, but that doesn't count against us.
So in the draft that the subcommittee has prepared, the very title, argument
Ends with
against
measure.
measure, doesn't count. And from the undersigned authors through the final signature block, those words don't count.
Okay, so yes, we're about 180. So we as long as I don't get too involved in this, we'll run into 300.
We'll turn your microphone off.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions for staff at this point? Any questions? Okay. Do we have is there somebody who would like to be the scribe?
Sure, I'll do it.
Oh, okay. Councilmember Carling? Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, when you have more than one working document, as you know, things can get squirrely.
Well, I just wanted to thank the two other Bobs here for taking this on short notice and did a heck of a job with it. My only comments are more of a grammatic nature, and they're very few, and that was the only things I thought about. So.
Once again,
Yeah, go ahead.
Shall I go with them?
Yeah,
Let's go with that. Just to where are we there?
On the sentence with all the commas, this
Yeah.
measure requires the city of Livermore, determine if the healthcare providers are, from provider is.
My suggestion would be to make it determine if a healthcare provider is meeting their responsibility. If, do you want me to put that in to show you what I mean?
No, I know what you're saying, yeah. Yeah.
The scribe type that up so we can see it.
Oops. It just went the wrong way.
Uh-oh. Do we need a motion to unscribe the scribe?
How do I go backwards for deleting?
Backspace, maybe. Sure.
He's trying to delete.
What?
He wants Steven to describe.
Oh, that one. Sorry.
Steve will have a game up there before we know
I
it.
have Macintosh, that's the problem. I'll get there shortly. So,
I was trying to make it plural to match the rest.
yeah, I
of the
know, but
sentence.
right, I'm just suggesting this and we'll see how. Because, I mean, we're talking about healthcare providers, but I think it's also important to point out that each individual healthcare provider is going to have to meet the reporting requirements, and they don't do it collectively. So that's why I changed it to a healthcare.
But A, what about every?
How about if an individual?
To determine if every healthcare provider.
No.
This meeting.
Yeah, that'd be all right.
That
Yeah.
doesn't
Because
sound
that's-
too bad,
yeah.
yeah.
All
Huge.
Or how about all healthcare providers? So it's kind of.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
You just kind of reinforce a point to a
Every
reader.
healthcare provider is meeting their responsibility.
Yeah, I think what Councilmember Spadowski just said, because further on is levy fines for those. So I think if all healthcare providers are meeting their responsibility, might be connect to the end of it better.
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, I like that, yeah.
Your providers are meeting their responsibilities.
Yeah, you just that works. Councilmember Coomer, did you have another comment?
I did, I'm just trying to identify it and make sure I had the right thing in mind. One of my biggest habits as a writer is to repeat words when I'm on a roll, and I get going on there, and I have to. And I thought I saw a couple of likelies, and I was going to suggest taking out the second likely near the bottom of the page.
I did that with actualies.
Yeah, hey, there you go. Same idea.
Are there more than one likely?
I thought there was at first
Well,
when I read it a couple hours ago.
There's a likely on the third sentence to the right there. Likely
Yeah,
results
that's
for our
right. I
community.
know
I think
so.
that likely's fine. I also had taking out the second likely. It's the second line from the bottom. Could likely result. Well, it could result, and that's you don't really need the extra
Yeah.
likely.
Yeah, I think it actually removing it makes it a little more intensive.
Because they're both likely result.
And I also had removing the actuallys.
Yeah.
You know, because it's below that line from the likely. So the critical services are needed by our community, not actually needed. And then the other one was the actually on the third line.
Well,
This measure will actually cost Livermore.
Well,
will cost.
well, the first actually was to be in contrast with the
Right.
purported.
Yeah, I agree with
method.
that. I see that.
So that's
Okay.
the reason for it.
Keep that in there.
And I agree on the last two likelies and actuallys.
Okay.
So
Do you
some Bob
think,
must have put those in there.
do you think, my colleagues up here, when we talk about critical services that are needed by the community, do you think the community will know and understand what we're talking about there?
That was one of my comments written down. Should we potentially list out that it's every doctor, dentist?
No, I meant this
Police,
fire,
fire,
this is fire,
Police,
police,
fire,
Oh, that-
yeah.
that-
road maintenance.
I think we have the words. We have the words available to us, so.
But does
critical
it lo-
services that are actually needed in our community, such as police,
Right.
fire,
Let's go with
library
that.
services.
Try that. Put the such as.
Yeah. Actually needed by our community, such as, there's another actually. Yeah, oops, it's all good. Needed by our community, such as police, fire, library services, and public works.
Library services.
Library services, okay, sorry.
My comment was related more towards the determine if all healthcare providers. Should we make sure that people understand that it is optometrists, dentists, doctors?
Yeah, let's finish.
I mean, after this, yeah.
Let's finish this one. I don't know that you need a comma after library services. I don't know.
But my habit is to put commas in, but
It's the new.
I thought the New York Times always had
Yeah,
commas.
that's the new, didn't used to be, but a few years back they changed
Do you
it.
agree, Paul, or not? You're shaking your head. Do you agree?
I agree. The convention is changing, or has
Right.
changed.
Okay.
But change to which way? To put it
Yeah,
there?
you
Put
put
the
it
comment
even
in.
before the end.
Eat
Used to be
leaves
you
and
didn't have
shoots,
it
right?
Before the end, but
There was a book, Eat Leaves and Shoots.
Do we get to choose the font? Do you have a nice sans serif or Comic Sans?
Let's go to your section on the enumerating the healthcare providers.
So,
okay.
so you're talking about medical service providers in the fourth line? Putting something in there?
Losing many medicals, either there or the eighth, determine if all healthcare providers. Well, that I don't know, wherever you would want to put it, but are we really going to list out, doctor, optometrist?
Well,
Ophthalmologist.
isn't it in the measure? Is it in the ballot measure,
Yeah, but people aren't going to read that.
Jason?
What's the question?
Is the list
Expanding what medical service providers
Is it
mean.
clear in the ballot measure who the service providers are?
It's broadly defined, and it actually incorporates another legislative scheme, and it excludes government payers, but again, it's not that clear.
What about the fourth line? Our local health care providers, such as doctors, dentists, optometrists, and all the citizens of Livermore are caught.
Yeah, so I mean, we could go on. We have the.
We don't need to go
word
into
count,
acupuncturists
you know,
and
Yeah,
chiropractors.
Yeah, acupuncturists. or-
Why, Scribe, why don't you put those in and we can see whether it looks like it. I think the thing to keep in mind here that some people have warned us out about is that acronym, what was it, TLDR? Yeah, so there's some value to being short.
I'd agree with you. I was looking at that earlier today, and I just couldn't think of other than those points that I mentioned. There wasn't a heck of a lot that I'd want to remove. I just wish there were a way to amplify the emotion, and I'm not sure quite. I'm pretty good at that myself.
I was
but
we
just
could put a
was-
few shames in here.
Yeah, if,
Okay.
Because when I've explained this measure to people, and they think it's just, sorry to say, just a hospital, and then you kind of expand on you realize all the independent, the dentists and everybody else are going to be more likely to kind of hike it out of town. That's when it really hits some people. Like, really?
Well,
So
I agree, and I was talking to some people recently, and they were astounded that this thing actually made the ballot because immediately they understood what the impact was going to be on our medical service providers.
Yeah, I agree with that.
well, that's the be careful what you sign out in front of Target message.
Yeah. So, are we mostly good?
No,
At this
Councilor Spadowski?
Well, I already jumped in on all of them except for the in reality on the second sentence. I don't know if we really
Okay.
did we talk about that one? In reality, getting rid of that. More succinct sentence.
I
Little
like
camps.
that because it's an opposition to the measure's claims, I think, and I think it might turn on some light bulbs.
Right.
Okay. I was just saying that because I think Bob put it in and I wanted to take it out.
Well, you know, one of the Bobs did.
I know. That's what I was saying.
Okay.
That's it. That's all.
Okay. So, first sentence. Start early here. The proponents of this measure claim that this ordinance, instead of will save you, what about that this ordinance will reduce your health care costs?
But that's not what it's.
Well, the bottom line is that
No, it's set at 115%, though. That doesn't mean it's going to reduce.
no, it'll reduce your health care costs
That's what was sold to anybody who
because
was signing the
it's
petition.
reducing the amount that somebody's going to have to pay, but it's not the
I'm good with it.
not the patient.
I think it's a good.
Instead of save you, to reduce your.
You have an opinion, Jason?
Because this is more of an argument.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as it's not a, yeah.
Okay. Next line. In reality, there is little chance that you will see any savings, and it will actually increase city expenses. So I deleted on your health care costs because that just it's the same as in the first line, but you will see any savings, and it will actually increase city expenses.
I thought you hated actually.
Well, we can take that one out. As I said, I went through and I just added a lot of actual.
I like it because
Okay.
your healthcare costs.
Showing the
I think,
contrast, yeah.
But then the next slide says this measure will actually cost Livermore taxpayers millions of dollars.
Yeah, well,
Okay, don't worry, I'll get
leaving
back- I'll get
your
back
in
to
there,
that.
this is to
I'll
appeal
get
to a
there.
voter.
Okay,
So
read
can we?
what John, read what you said.
Can we do something because this is now, and I'm all for it, but we're now seeing substantial changes to this. Can we just copy this block so that we're not losing what we have so far, and then start editing a separate block so we can always go back to what we had? Oh, okay. All right.
Read back. I deleted what up to savings. So you need to read to me again. But
The proponents of this measure claim that this ordinance will reduce your health care costs. In reality, there is little chance that you will see any savings. Delete on your health care costs,
I did.
and it will actually increase city expenses.
We got run-on sentence because then the thing of it'll cost taxpayers and likely result in our community losing. I mean, how many ands do you want in a sentence?
There's only one.
No, there's the second part of what you just.
No.
In reality, there is little chance that you will see any savings, and it will actually increase city expenses.
We need to take
Okay.
it out.
Oh, and then you're going to keep the same sentence.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually like keeping your in there because it's
Yeah.
to appeal to a voter. So to appeal to your, savings on your healthcare costs. I just,
The reason because it's that same exact phrase from the sentence before. It repeats your health care costs in both
I got
sentences.
you. Okay, I see.
Okay, so in reality, there is little chance that you will see any savings, and it will actually increase city expenses.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
You good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Next sentence. This measure will require that the city of Livermore create an additional bureaucracy.
Well, you're changing this a lot. Will require the city of Livermore?
It will require that the city of Livermore create an additional bureaucracy.
So here's
Wait a minute.
here's a question. We got substantial reordering of the concepts, and do you want to hit them with the cost millions of dollars?
Oh, that's the next part.
No. Oh,
Okay, so the sentence is,
Okay.
this measure will require that the city of Livermore create an additional bureaucracy and will actually cost Livermore taxpayers millions of dollars more.
Yeah, but we put in the additional bureaucracy down a couple of sentences about the new administrative division.
Right, but people love the word bureaucracy. That's why I spelled that out. Because talking about a new administrative division, that's not quite as onerous as bureaucracy. So I think we'd have both. So let me just finish out this because I was more on the top. This measure will require that the city of Livermore create an additional bureaucracy and will actually cost Livermore taxpayers millions of dollars more. A recent study showed that it would likely result in our community losing many medical service providers.
How about if we say this measure will cost Livermore taxpayers millions of dollars through additional bureaucracy?
Works for me. Or by creating an additional bureaucracy? Because it's actually creating a whole nother division.
Yeah, but we say that later.
Yeah. Yeah, but we're actually, I like the idea of creating another, I don't like the idea of creating another bureaucracy, but that's what in fact we're doing.
I forgot creating.
By requiring an additional bureaucracy.
Okay, yeah, by requiring an additional bureaucracy.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're getting too many thoughts in one sentence. So this likely result in our community losing medical service, that's got to go into a new sentence. I mean, I'm kind of, we had,
Which one are you talking about?
well, we can keep going, but what's happened is, and you know, I don't know.
We're losing sort of the thread. I mean,
Yeah, we're losing the thread, and I don't see the other version, and it would be.
we have the other version here.
No, but we had the edited other version.
Well, true.
Right now, that's gone.
We can almost get it.
Right. So and that's what I'm saying. That other edited version we should get back to, and then be working this one as a new thing, and then we can always get back to what we had. But we're so far from where we're going.
Actually, we hadn't really done anything at the top of it. Everything that we had really changed was at the bottom.
Oh no,
I think what we got now, Bob, is what is pretty close to what you were just saying. The only thing I changed is reducing healthcare costs instead of saving health. It says we changed, we'll save you to reduce, and then I think the rest of it's the same.
Visual cost.
this is good. I'm saying let's save this
Okay.
before we start making the
Okay.
major
How do we
surgery
do
on
that?
it.
I've been taking screenshots. So I
So
have different versions.
Bob, how
of
are you
screenshots.
suggesting we do that? Do you want to print this? You want to print this?
Oh, we could. I'm just saying I don't want to lose what we
I
had.
get your point.
Yeah. So can we print it?
Can we print it, Sarah, or not? Huh?
I'll ask the IT manager.
Okay.
Or what if we just copy that, and then paste it down below?
Yeah. Or above. Yeah.
Yeah. Just highlight the whole thing, copy, drop down below, and hit paste.
That'll
and then
work.
you'll have the whole document.
Right.
Save.
Highlight it, Control C, then Control V, just like that. But let's keep it.
No, it's not a Macintosh.
Do a right click.
Hang on. Let me copy and paste it real quick.
Okay.
Oh, we actually have a printer.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome is that?
We're
We're
high-tech.
vaulting into the 19th century.
We're high-tech.
Son of a gun.
There you go. There's a second version down below now, preserving.
Okay.
Not to confuse things any. See.
There we go.
I don't. Why do you,
Hang on.
Mr. Mayor, why do you think adding bureaucracy is more impactful than just telling him it's going to cost taxpayers millions of dollars?
We're saying both.
I know that, but why do you think we need both?
because people hate bureaucracies.
Yeah, but they also hate spending millions of dollars.
Right, but they're both in there.
Okay, but
So this measure will require the city of Livermore create an additional bureaucracy and will actually cost Livermore taxpayers millions of dollars more. So, period.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. So this measure will require the city of Livermore create an additional bureaucracy and will actually cost Livermore taxpayers millions of dollars more. Now, you had talked about saying will actually cost Livermore taxpayers millions of dollars more by
Through the
creating an
creation.
additional bureaucracy. And I'm good with either one of those.
Well, I think the mayor's version is cleaner.
Okay, so once we get,
through the creation of additional bureaucracy, is that how you spell bureaucracy?
But you don't want to have creation of, because that's taking a verb and turning it into a noun and adding a preposition. I mean, it doesn't read as easy.
So what do you want me to do?
I'd go back to the mayor's version. I think it's cleaner.
Seems too long. I was trying to live by what we heard this morning.
so this measure will require that the city create an additional bureaucracy and will actually cost Livermore taxpayers millions of dollars more, or this measure will,
Just get that up there once, and then
This
let's.
measure will what?
this measure will require that the city of Livermore create an additional bureaucracy.
Okay, wait a minute, it's gonna slow down. Will require the city of Livermore to do what?
Will require that the city of Livermore create an additional bureaucracy.
Well, you're implying that we're a bureaucracy as is. So I was just to create a bureaucracy.
We're already a bureaucracy and we're gonna make another one, is his question.
To me, it sounds we're creating another beast that we don't really need.
But all I'm saying is you're implying that we're bureaucratic, but I actually think the staff is not so much. So.
Right. Well, let me just finish out and then
Additional bureaucracy, keep going.
and will actually cost Livermore taxpayers millions of dollars more. That's really just all I did was add the creating additional bureaucracy. The rest of that line was already in the original.
But now we have two ands.
Put it actually between will and cost.
Yeah, but we have actually in the sentence above.
No.
Well,
Oh, right.
well,
Right.
okay, so we'll cost Livermore taxpayers millions of dollars more.
And then period.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. There's an extra and in there.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said.
Wait, how did that happen? Let's see. This measure could create an additional
I
bureaucracy
could put a,
and will cost
I could take out
Livermore
the first
taxpayers
and.
millions of dollars more. Oh, period. It's millions of, and will actually cost millions of dollars more. Period. Okay, then, okay, here we go. This is where we.
Okay.
Okay, this is where we bring it all together. Capital. A recent study showed that it would likely result in our community losing many medical service providers. So what I did is I took out the and replaced it with, because where does that come from?
Right.
Losing medical service. Well, we just did a 9212 study, and if they want, it's referenced later on in the
Right.
document.
And instead of saying a recent study showed that just say a recent study showed that if the measure passed or something.
That if the measure passed, it would likely result. Good. Okay, I like that. Showed that if the measure passed, it would likely result in our community losing many medical service providers. Okay?
And that's good because the first sentence is speaking about costs, and this second one is the study and the impact of on the medical providers.
And the last little thing that I've got
Okay.
is going down to, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Let's go down 3 more lines. The sentence beginning, this measure requires.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this measure requires the city of Livermore to establish. To me, that just, the to establish sounded sort of strange to me. This measure requires the city of Livermore establish, or this requires that the city of Livermore establish. I was uncomfortable with the infinitive there.
I'd just take out the 2 then.
I just take out.
Yeah, or this measure requires that the city of Livermore establish.
You okay with that?
What do you think? Okay, this measure requires that the city of Livermore establish and maintain.
Okay.
All right, I'm done. That's all I got.
Okay.
It just sounded a lot bad. Sounded worse in the beginning.
You did. I agree.
When I started out with the second word.
Okay, so now we got to go through Stephen's version.
What? No. No. I
You
just,
had your choice.
I cut and paste the version before some of the edits as version 1.
No, what I meant was, are you going to now, do you have your edits that are? that we
Mine
go-
starts with 7 years ago. So. No, it's fine.
Better than in the beginning, I guess.
Yeah, in the beginning. I always prefer keeping them, I think, shorter because I always worry about people not reading the whole thing, that your TLDR comment. But I think this is a good size.
What's our word count?
I was just going to try. How many?
223.
Okay.
Oh, so good.
Thank you, Neil.
Almost 70 to spare.
We don't need to fill out all 300.
No, we're good. I think that's.
You think we got it?
Are we in a position to take any comments
Well,
from the?
let me just.
How do you spell it?
Bureaucracy is B.
Say it again.
It's bureaucracy.
Oh, bureaucracy. Sort of like daguerreotype. It's impossible to spell it correctly.
B-U-R.
Like a.
EAUCRACY.
I
Bureaucracy.
knew it wasn't right.
Yeah.
That's bureaucracy?
No, go back one to instead of CACRA.
Bureaucracy. CR. There we go.
See, when I spell these on my iPad, it automatically knows that I'm misspelling it. But
So I have a question. And procedurally, we're working this, but are we open? Can we ask for any observers to comment at this point? Is that allowed?
This is the same as any regular council meeting. So if you wanted to call somebody up and they were so inclined, they could respond to you.
I'm so inclined.
All in favor?
Well, you can be inclined, but the person, you can't compel a person, but if they wanted to.
No,
speak.
I just want to. We have people that bothered to show up. We know what we're doing here, and they very interested parties. If possible, if anybody has a comment, and we're not to say we're necessarily going to incorporate it, but I just would like to offer that opportunity at this stage.
It's a speak now or forever hold your peace moment.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. I am Tracy Lewis Taylor, Chief Operating Officer for Stanford Healthcare Valley Care. Appreciate all the work that you have taken this evening to really fine tune the detail and the specificity of the word choice. I think my recommendation or my observation is that the first few sentences really focus on the increase in tax base that would cost the residents of Livermore. That same theme is then replicated towards the bottom. And what breaks it up is the sentence, our local healthcare providers, et cetera, are in danger of being irreparably harmed. my perspective is that we should move that sentence to the very end, and then the thoughts that are in the first two sentences are aligned with the following sentences.
So moving irreparably harmed to right after Public Works.
The part that I
Yes.
highlighted?
That's correct. Move the sentence starting with our local healthcare providers, ending in irreparably harmed. Move that to the sentence after works.
Okay, so starting with our local healthcare providers down to irreparably harmed, and then move that down after Public Works. Unfortunately, it doesn't show up here.
Oh, it doesn't?
Yep.
All right, I can't figure out how to cut and paste on this.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry.
Okay, why additional bureau, have I misspelled bureau? Why is it underlined in blue? Do you know? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
It came out a different font.
It's not going to be
That's the grammar tool that's showing up in the blue double line.
Okay.
What?
Grammar.
Neil's answering the question on the bottom.
Is this what you were suggesting?
Did we do that?
Yes. So recent study shows the measure passed.
Okay,
Yep.
All right.
thanks for the suggestion.
Any other comments?
Do you need the word "dot" as proponents? It's probably not that big of a deal. It doesn't really change it. It's less one, less word.
Let's close it out.
Okay. So if we, have we got it?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
Cut, print it.
We got to get the font right.
Oh, that's the yes.
Well,
You
yeah.
like it.
I have something to say. It doesn't matter much, but I'll say it if you want me to.
Okay.
Don't hurt yourself.
Determine if all healthcare sponsors are meeting their responsibilities and levy fines for those that are not. Instead of saying meeting their responsibilities twice.
Okay, so to not
same
duplicate
amount of time.
responsibilities. Yeah, to levy fine for those who are not,
So is Spadowski doing this now?
for those who are not.
Go ahead, finish, because I
Yeah,
don't,
the levy fines for those who are not. Do you want to add the R? Okay. And then seek to collect those fines. All right. Okay. Do you want to read through this one more time? Just how it sounds.
Yeah, but could we print this now?
You're actually missing the that you wanted, Mayor.
Pardon me?
You're missing that in the third sentence down. This measure will require that the city of Livermore create.
It requires that the city of Livermore establish.
Right, no.
That require that the city of Livermore create an additional.
We got it,
bureaucracy.
we got it. He just wanted to put that.
thank you, Mr. Saylor.
Okay, so the proponents of this measure claim that this ordinance will reduce your health care costs. In reality, there is little chance that you will see any savings, and it will actually increase city expenses. This measure will require that the city of Livermore create an additional bureaucracy and will cost taxpayers millions of dollars more. A recent study showed that if the measure passed, you want a comma there? A recent study showed that if the measure passed, it would likely result in our community losing many medical service providers. This measure requires that the city of Livermore establish and maintain a new administrative division to gather healthcare information from providers, determine if all healthcare providers are meeting their responsibilities, levy fines for those who are not, and then seek to collect those fines. The cost to operate this new burdensome bureaucracy will be significant and could result in the city being forced to reduce critical services that are needed by our community, such as police, fire, library services, and public works. Our local healthcare providers, such as physicians, dentists, optometrists, etc., and all the citizens of Livermore are caught in the middle of a contentious labor dispute and are in danger of being irreparably harmed. Please vote no on this measure.
Is there another word we could use after library rather than library services? Because we use critical services in the same sentence.
Library hours.
I don't think.
You think?
I don't think library adds to the criticality. I mean, it's
Well,
We got 60,000 active library card holders.
well. I mean, police, fire, and public works, but I don't know. It'd be because we have library services and we have critical. I mean,
well, take
This
the,
is 30% of the cost of the library. This is 30% of the library
then
budget.
take critical services, take critical out. Just say reduce services that are needed by a community, such as police, fire, library services, and public works.
Yeah, but we still have services. My criticism wasn't about critical. It was about the fact that we use services
Oh, you
twice.
services twice? Okay, so library,
Huh?
police, fire, libraries, and public works.
Yeah,
That works.
it is.
Other non-critical services like the library, park services.
All right.
in the scheme of things, to public works. You know, if you had a choice, you're going to have to do public works in front of libraries.
Right.
Libraries and public works.
And other public works, because aren't they all public works?
Public
think
works
it's-
like
I think
streets,
it's right.
roads.
I think we were thinking about roads and sewers and things like that.
Yeah, but that's all public works.
Yeah. Okay, I'm good.
Any other comments?
I think you need to drop more at the ends of millions of dollars.
Where?
It's grammatically more correct if you would say this measure will require the city of Livermore to create additional bureaucracy and will cost taxpayers millions of dollars. I would drop
Yeah.
them more.
Yeah, 'cause it's not costing us anything right now. So why would it cost more? So it's just I would say drop the more.
Well, I mean,
It would cost us millions of dollars.
It will cost us millions of dollars, right?
More than what?
Right, 'cause
Okay,
we're not
good
paying
more than
anything.
we're paying now.
But we're not paying anything now for healthcare.
No, but millions,
Overview.
millions of dollars more than, so taxpayers are paying millions of dollars now, so the taxpayers will be paying millions of dollars more.
I think.
If you
I'm good with dropping the more.
Okay,
Me too.
Well, now we can add another word.
Mr. Wenty's got something else to say.
yes, sir.
This measure will require that the city of Livermore create an additional bureaucracy.
Easy for you to say.
Costing the taxpayer millions of dollars.
Right. Oh, costing the taxpayers.
Yeah, that's good. That's even better.
Thank you, sir.
Costing the taxpayers millions of dollars. Okay, that's cleaner.
Now we can add 3 more words. Let's figure that one out.
Costing taxpayers millions of
Oh,
dollars.
we already got too many words.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. City Attorney. This pass muster?
I don't observe any major legal defaults with it.
Is this, in a second here.
You think saying contentious labor dispute is okay?
If that's your argument, your belief of what's brought this to you, that's
Okay.
fine.
Okay, fine.
So this argument is true and correct to the best of our knowledge and belief. It's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Okay. Well, is this
Brendan will sign.
okay? Do you need a motion for this?
Let's get this thing printed as it's supposed to be, because we got version 1 sitting in here and stuff. So
Hey, Stephen, can you fix the font though on that one?
On the bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
let's get the final version printed in front of us, and then we'll vote.
If you wish, we can take just a moment and print the version that you've seemed to have agreed upon in its proper format. And so if you'll want to take just a couple minute break, we can provide that and put it up on your dais.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
font fixed.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, just a couple minutes, say? Okay. We'll just take a couple-minute break here, and we'll be right back. Okay, great. Welcome back, and we're back here at the special Livermore Council meeting for July 30th. We just got the printed version of the wordsmithed version. We're just kind of going over that and seeing if it matches.
Move approval.
I second.
Okay, motion by Councilmember Spadowski, seconded by Vice Mayor Werner. Any discussion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed unanimously. Very good. Got it done in an hour. Thank you very much.
You have your second duty this evening, which is to determine if you wish to have a subcommittee to initially write the rebuttal to the primary argument for, and who the members of that are.
Okay, well, certainly I'd like to thank the first subcommittee for doing a tremendous job on this one. Do you guys want to take a crack at the
Be
rebuttal?
fine with me.
Okay,
I like Bob and Bob.
I think they did a great job. I think thank you very much. I think that it was
You're welcome.
very well done. And so if you guys wouldn't mind taking on the rebuttal, and then we'll come back here and we'll do it again.
You bet. Okay
Excellent.
with me.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. With that, there being no further business, adjourn.